Hello and welcome to another episode of Creatives with Kartik, where each week you join me in having a conversation with some of your most favorite talented South Asian creatives. Today on the show, we're diving deep into the mind of a talented Sydney-based dancer, classically trained in Bharatanatyam for the last 23 years. She's a choreographer and a teacher specializing in Bollywood and classical, who will soon be launching her very own dance academy. Her mesmerizing talent has amassed her a following of nearly 50,000 followers across all her platforms, with her most popular video having reached nearly 500,000 views. Well known for her storytelling through her exquisite understanding of abhinaya, which means expressions, she showcases a fusion of her classical and modern styles of dance to create content that's the epitome of Australian and Indian roots. It gives me great pleasure to introduce a talented dancer and a friend of mine, Anjana Chandran. Anjana, welcome to the channel.
Thank you. Wow, that was a mouthful, and I feel like I'm on like Coffee with Karan or something.
Yeah, except it's Creatives with Kartik.
What an introduction.
Yeah, it's totally original, which is why I like it. No, I've got so much I want to talk to you about, and it's also great because we're mates outside this, so it's just like having a casual conversation, which I totally appreciate.
Yeah.
Let's just dive straight deep into it, man. Like, where did this whole dance journey start from exactly for you?
Yeah, I think like when I think of dance, I don't really always have like a specific moment that I can tell someone, because I think the earliest memory I have, I was always dancing. So when it comes to like dance and like being into singing and the arts, it was just like something that like as soon as I was born, my parents were very encouraging, enrolled me in classes. It was like a way for me to also stay connected to my roots and everything like that. So there's never like one defining moment. But when I decided to sort of take it a bit more seriously, it was only in the last couple of years, and like put it into like a passion project and create like a dance platform and teach students and learn more and create content. Only happened a couple years ago.
So you never started like dancing when you were really young, right? At what age specifically?
Yeah, I was 4 years old when I first enrolled in Bharatanatyam classes.
Wow.
Yeah, so my parents are like, as soon as they noticed, they're like, okay, we're sending her.
I'm just curious, is that a thing with like most like South Asian parents? I know, I'm also a classical dancer, but I actually joined the scene a little bit late when I was like 14. But Is that quite common where people just get like into dance, like kids just get put into dance when their parents are like such a young age?
I think so. I think especially if you live abroad, it's like the one thing that they can keep their kids connected to with their roots. But it was different for my sister. My sister was always into her academics. And so as much as she was there, my parents definitely pushed me more, I think, because I was taking that extra initiative and putting my hand up being like, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Totally.
Yeah, I guess parents do that.
Okay. And so where's that journey taken you? So you've started dancing at a very young age, and now you've grown up to a full adult self now. You've been dancing, consecutively since you were very little. What's the current goal with dance? Where do you want to take it? What's the end sort of outline?
Don't make me sound so old. I'm still young.
Sorry about that.
No, so only a couple of years ago, I decided I wanted to take choreography more seriously. I was doing it anyways for like family and friends, or friends of friends who were like, oh, Anjana's a dancer, she can choreograph, a piece for your wedding or a piece for your friend's wedding. And the more I was doing it, like I had friends around telling me, they're like, why don't you make this, into a business and fully fledged? I think it was Deborah. She's Deborah Designs. One Christmas, she helped me start my Instagram page, and she's like, bro, you just got to do it. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And so, it started a couple of years ago, and I realized, look, I like doing this. I enjoy doing this. I'm really great with people. I love working with clients. I love meeting people. And I think it just helps that it's through the medium of dance. So, it happened a couple of years ago, and now it's sort of died down because of COVID in terms of event choreography and bridal choreography. And I've just turned a lot of that into, okay, how can I service people through my love of dance? So, that's running workshops online and trying to put in the work to create my website so we can have an online dance academy, a big community where we can all sort of connect with each other through the love of dance.
Okay, no, I love that. And I think right now, given the current, situation of COVID, a lot has changed through, digital content creation, where, everyone's now relying on these digital services and, these platforms to learn from, which is incredible. So we'll obviously go a little bit more into the challenges side of things in terms of, how it is that you got established and what you actually face. Because I can guarantee you right now, there's, definitely a bunch of dancers who'd probably be listening to this as well, different creatives from different backgrounds and industries. And I think a commonality that I've spoken to with across the previous previous speakers as well, is that everyone faced different challenges from when they first started, right? And whether you're a makeup artist, whether you're a photographer or a dancer, there's challenges different to each and every one, but I think we all grow through them nonetheless. Okay, so the first thing that I sort of want to touch light on is obviously content creation is, I would like to say, that's a full-time job, right? There's an aspect where you have to dedicate just time to this. How do you manage content creation and then also like doing your own corporate job as well, and putting the two together to like balance that lifestyle? What works for you?
Yeah, I have to say it's not easy. You're right. I think social media and managing that whole side is almost 24/7, and my 9 to 5 is a bit easier than doing the whole content creation side. So I think it's important to sort of strike a balance and have a schedule. So I know 9 to 5 is allocated to work. Okay, so what can I do in the 5 to 9 area? So 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. How can I really utilize that time? How can I create a structure? I think early on when I started, it was very sporadic. I'll be like, okay, I'll create content this day. Okay, I'll do something this day. And it wasn't consistent. It wasn't planned out. And sometimes, it doesn't get you where you want to be. Having a schedule has really helped me. I go 9 to 5, I'm working, 5 to 9, I'm putting completely into my business, whether it's managing my social media or building my website or trying to connect with my clients or just even speaking to people that are the community that I've built online on Instagram. And all of that is 5 to 9. So I think anybody that's getting started, my whole suggestion would be get a schedule, something that works for you. I've had friends who have, tried to build their business online, and what they do is they work 9 to 5. They've made their shifts at work earlier. So they do like 7 to 3. And then at 3 p.m. onwards, they do their social media or their business and a business side of things. So yeah, it's not easy, but I think if your heart is in it, you're going to find a way to do it, and you're going to find some time to do it. And then weekends. There's always weekends.
There's always weekends. Yeah, of course. The 2 days off that we get from like a busy Monday to Friday.
Yes.
In terms of like the actual planning stage, do you go a lot into, planning your content, or do you go, oh, you know what, today I feel like waking up and doing this? Like, how do you go about it for the week of, or for maybe like the month of? Like, do you plan a lot around it, or what's your go-to on that?
See, the thing with content is like I'm on both sides. I'm on like, I don't want to create for the sake of creating. I don't want to get to the point where I'm like, I haven't posted a reel this week. Oh, I should post something, because it's not authentic. I'm not going to be happy, and that's not who I am. It's not what I stand for. But I do plan in the sense of I now collaborate with people. So we're coming up with ideas and how we can grow our businesses together. So we get to like have creative juices building, and we talk, and then so we plan, okay, you're going to build me this costume. You're going to create me this costume. What can I do with this costume? How can I really enhance this costume in a dance piece? So that gives me a chance to really explore my creative side of things while still collaborating with other people. So that's the sort of planning that I do in the background, or whether it's planning and building a website. Okay, I'm going to give myself X amount of time to complete this so that I can have it ready. Or if it's, workshops, how can I structure the class so that it's helpful and beneficial for people? Yeah, totally. That's the side of planning that I focus on. You
touched on an interesting point there, collaborations, because I think at every point in time, whenever I see a new creative established, right, it's always the same conversation. It's like, oh, I should collaborate with someone. What do you think in terms of collaborations are things that people should look out for when it comes to working with other people? Is there something that you could share with us that you think works for yourself when it comes to like collaborating, like in terms of with other vendors?
Oh yeah. I mean, for starters, I didn't even think I could do it. Like, I didn't even know it was an option available at all.
Yeah,
and then I started seeing more and more people do it. And I'm like, oh, so do I just ask someone? Like, where do I begin? And I think that's it. Just ask. I think you've just got to, yeah, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And like, what the worst you're going to get is probably a no or a scene or an unread, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I think collaborations are great because, like I mentioned before, it's really an opportunity for you to be able to evolve as an artist and grow and, get your creative juices flowing. So, I mean, one of the things that I learned from collaborating was, how to sort of maybe even structure an email or learn how to create media kits. I think everybody just needs to know that you've just got to start somewhere. And whether it's like, asking a friend or asking somebody that you know, or you've seen a small business that you like and aligns with your business and you want to sort of collaborate, just ask. And then eventually you'll get to the points where you can learn how to structure an email. You can learn how to create media kits and start sending those off to people.
I totally love that. I totally love that. I mean, just asking. I think people are so caught up with the fact that I just started, I've got literally nowhere or like nothing, no support, no followers, none of that. And then people are concerned with the fact that like, what makes someone go, I'm going to work with you, right? Like, how do people go about it? And I think people get really concerned and caught up with that. You know, the whole like, oh, like they won't reach out to me. And they often stop before they even start. Like, it's a problem that I see all the time. They predict a barrier or a challenge before they even actually start doing what it is. So the biggest thing that I think I see all the time is that sort of that barrier. And then every time I think about it, it's like, okay, if I was in that like person's shoes, what would I do? Honestly, just DM someone, or like just send that DM out, because you never really know, you know, what that response is going to be like, you know, which I totally appreciate that.
Yeah, and just think about the value add that you bring. Like, what are you going to be able to, how are you able to contribute into this small growing business, right? I think a lot of the time when we're sort of reaching out, we think only people with millions of followers can, you know, do promotions and collaborations. But I think a lot of businesses are realizing the power of micro influencers and the power of people who have smaller followers, but stronger communities and stronger people that react and engage with their content. So you'll find a lot of businesses do reach out to micro influencers. So don't doubt your value. There's definitely something you can bring to the table.
100%. You know, people often look at that metrics, and I'll go into that now about the whole metrics side of it, and people go, oh, like followers, likes, and this and that. And, you know, at some point, I totally understand how people can get really consumed with that process. Like metrics, do you think it's really important? Like what's your take or values on metrics when it comes to social media?
I try not to take metrics too seriously. I try to use them to my advantage, rather.
Yeah,
so the thing I'd like to say, I mean, I think I celebrated every win. I think the last video you had me on, you did my little screenshot thing. I had 1,000 followers or something. But even then, I remember making a post and celebrating. I think you've got to celebrate every small win. My thing is, whether you have 1,000 followers or you have 500 followers or 10 followers, you have them. You've got them there.
Correct.
What are you going to bring to them? Like, what sort of value add are you giving to the people who are already loyal to you, who have already sort of subscribed to your content or your sort of platform or your brand? What value are you going to give to these people? Because they've taken the time, right, to hit that small button.
100%.
What are you going to bring to them?
100%.
So that's usually my focus. I go, okay, so I've got 8,000 followers. This many are from India. This many are from America. This many are from Australia. They're aged 16 to something. This is how many engage with this kind of post, and X engage with this kind of post. You sort of find those metrics and work it to your advantage. Don't be like, oh, I only got 100 likes for that, or I only have 100
I know
followers.
what you mean, man.
I think you've got to find the why. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you creating content? Okay. If you're going to, for me, it's like, okay, I want to build an academy. I want to build I want to build on workshops. I want to be able to teach students. That's my focus. So it doesn't matter if it's 10 people or 100 people. It's just about that.
Yeah, man. The metric side of it, I totally get it. It's a part that you probably shouldn't ignore, but it's also a part that you shouldn't give too much value to. I genuinely think things like this is like a fine balance, right? Like too much on the I care side, it means that you're only doing it for those reasons. And too little means that, well, there's potential information that you could have used to, you know, create advantages for yourself to help figure out, okay, what really works and what doesn't. You know, I love the 1% rule. So let's just assume we're talking about 500 followers, right? We all started there. We all started with 500. And it's easily achievable. I always look at the 1% rule. So 1% of 500 people, right, could easily convert into a sale, a booking. You know, for you, I suppose, like, you know, dance clients, for me, it could be like wedding couples. You know, the 1% rule is all you really need. So people get consumed in the fact that in order for me to be quote unquote successful, right, I need to have, you know, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, right? And I always take I always just say, take it back a notch, right? Be a little bit more simple with it. If 1% of your overall like followers, right, convert, whatever that number is, that's great. That's income. That's clientele. That's content, right? And I think people overcomplicate it a lot more than what it really is. No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. That was awesome. Another challenge that I think people often consume themselves with, and again, it gets to a point where they end up stopping before they even start, right? It's sort of like, oh no, I can't even do it, is saturation. Like, how do you deal with, you know, a market where there's already contenders, where there's people already established? Because I remember when I first picked up a camera, right, we had all these amazing photographers in Sydney and they were killing it. And, you know, I had a moment where I was looking at them, I was going, holy shit, like I can't compete with that. Right? Like, how do you one, deal with knowing the fact that, you know, dancing and, you know, there are choreographers and dancers within this space. How do you process a saturated market?
What do you mean, Kartik? Am I not the only dancer on Instagram? I thought it was just me.
Sorry. Yeah, no, absolutely.
No, look, I know it's so saturated. It's such a saturated industry. Even dance, if I go on my Instagram explore page, it's just reel after reel after reel.
Totally.
I think the most important part is to focus on your niche. So find what makes you stand out. What's unique to you? What's your style that people are liking and engaging with? And I see that with a lot of dancers who have sort of made it, is they have that one niche that makes them very unique.
Works,
so find what works for you. And I think sometimes we get caught up in trends and sort of trying to follow others' footsteps and trying to be like, oh, they did that, I'm going to try that as well. It might not work for you. You got to find what works for you. And I think if you're always waiting to see what other people are doing, then you're always in the shadows. You're always just waiting for other people's next step. So the thing is, experiment. It's all going to be trial and error. It's going to be trying new things and seeing whether you enjoy it as well and whether other people like it as well. So in order to stand out in a saturated market is to find your niche and find what makes you unique.
I totally appreciate that because within every creative industry, there's already competition. There's already people doing that stuff, right? I always looked at competition as like motivation. It's a very weird dilemma. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is kind of my response to it, but I looked at other photographers, right? And I'm like, oh my God, these people are like amazing. Right? They're like, these people are where I ideally want to be, if not better than that. And I don't know, like for any viewers listening in on the podcast or watching this on YouTube, if you can agree with this or not, but I think competition is incredibly healthy. I think when you're entering into a saturated market, I think it's a great thing because the way I kind of like to look at it is I use that competitive nature of myself, right? And I go, cool, well, they're killing it in X, Y, Z. How can I be better than that? Or how can I be just different? Not even better. I think, being different and unique, your own creative niche, right? Which is much, much more important. No, I think that's super important.
Yeah, I think competition is great. I think competition in a friendly way, obviously.
Healthy, correct,
I think there's room. Yeah, there's room for everybody. There's opportunity for everybody. So somebody succeeding doesn't necessarily mean that you won't and can't succeed. We can all grow and we can all be on this platform together. Yep. But competition is healthy sometimes as long as it's friendly and it's obviously, polite. But I love looking at what other people are doing and it's also inspiring. I think seeing other people grow from same way. If they started off with 100 followers to see them really making it and killing it. And I see that a lot on this platform. It's quite endearing. And I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah, 100%. Like, what's stopping me from being just as good, if not better, in my own unique way, despite all these people existing? And I totally love what you said about, friendly competition. I think it's all about bringing each other up. Right. And I think that mentality where people are like, oh, I really want that client or I need that thing or I need to get this. I genuinely used to think like that and it was such an unhealthy mindset. Right. And I think it really consumed me. So the thought process around what helped me was the fact that there's so much to go around. We're in this massive like abundance, right, within this market. Despite Sydney being a very small community, I genuinely think there's everyone's a client. Everyone can be a dancer, right? It doesn't really matter about, there's only XYZ people available. There will always be people who are, looking for people's services, right? And especially within the wedding scene. And I know that you're dabbling in there now with choreography for couples. You'll see it all the time. You'll have couples who get married, you'll do their first dance and whatnot, choreography. And then, 2 weeks later, somebody else might hit you up and it'll just be that ongoing, momentum. I totally appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay. So another thing I've realized as well in terms of, content creation, is the pandemic. Right now, I got asked this the other day from a mate. They're like, oh, how are you doing couple photo shoots? I'm like, well, I'm not. Right? Like you can't do weddings. So for me, content creation is really different. I don't have that ability to put a GoPro on my shoulder and go to a wedding and then create a YouTube video out of it. Like I can't do that anymore. How do you stay relevant during a pandemic, knowing very well the fact that a large part of also what you do is also influenced by external events? Like what helps you to stay relevant within the market?
Yeah, look, I have to talk about it in two aspects. I mean, early on when COVID was happening and, brides come to you and they've, put down everything and we're like, okay, this is how we're going to work for the next 2 to 3 months leading up to the event. And it's like, bam, wedding cancelled, wedding postponed and everything like that. So you got to find the easiest way to approach the situation. A lot of it's empathy, it's a lot of understanding. But coming back to, say, specifically the Sydney lockdown, it broke me. I mean, I had videos planned, collaborations planned with videographers and makeup artists and labels where we're going to go out to scenic locations and shoot amazing choreography and content. And then bam, and then it's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We're in it for a month. We're in it for 2 months.
And it just kept going worse and worse and worse. Yeah. It was
exactly.
bad. It was
and now
brutal.
it's so bleak. We're not sure when it's going to happen. But I was like, okay, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to vent. I'm going to mope around for a bit.
Totally.
Fair enough. But what am I going to do? Like, what can I do in the space that I have?
Yeah.
And I just recently moved into my apartment, and there was like one corner of my apartment that I've done nothing to. So I was like, you know what? This is my corner. This is my corner from now on. I'm going to create content in this corner.
And let's talk about that soon. Let's talk about that soon, that corner, because that's a very specific, really important corner. So we'll come back to that. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, that is my corner for now. So I was like, okay, it's a shitty situation, but how can we make something out of this shitty situation? So I think it's a pandemic, but that means people are online. People want people constantly engaging with you. People are wanting small bite-sized versions of like something that will entertain them, something that will make them happy, something that will make them cheerful, or maybe something that will, something that's relatable to them, whether it's me going on my stories and saying, hey guys, had a shitty week, it's lockdown, I'm up and down.
Yeah.
And then, and then people connect. And so I think it's a beautiful thing. I think people have been able to come together as well out of this pandemic. So how I stay relevant, I took a shitty situation and said, how am I going to make it work in my favor? We can still do online workshops. We're in an age of great technology. So
100%.
Online workshops, find something that's going to work for you in this space and this time.
No, I love that. Okay. And when it comes to the whole like content side of it, so let's address the corner now. But, you're right. We're so restricted. We can't go out, right? We really can't. And, a lot of other places in the world have had their tough times. Now Sydney's going it through right now. And, creating content for me and you, it's the same thing. We rely a lot on a lot of our external environment, right? Like working with vendors, going to scenic locations. Now, we can't do shit. Like, it's just not possible. That corner for you, if anyone's just sort of like tuning in, Anjana has this corner in her apartment and it's like literally like 2 walls, isn't it? It's just like like a corner wall. That's it.
It's literally a corner.
Yeah.
It's a corner.
But correct me if I'm wrong, that one corner has created some very viral content. Is that right?
Yeah, to be fair, when I think about it, when I started lockdown, I was probably at like 3,000 or 4,000 followers. And I think, 2 months in, I'm at 8,000. So I think people are engaging with this particular corner. So I'm sticking with it.
The corner works. I love that.
It works.
I think you know what? It's fascinating. I see time and time again, right? People are under the assumption, right? And I'll get your take on it, where when they're creating content, they think it needs to be this. Right, it needs to be extravagant. It needs to be wow, right? Even when it comes to let's just say wedding photography, people think the best gear is the only thing you need, right? Mind you, you don't need the most expensive thing in the world, right? How do you think you've this corner that you speak of, right? Like, were you under the same impression as well, where you're like, shit, I needed to do all these really, really big things to get people's attention?
Yeah, essentially that's why I was like, okay, I need I need to connect with good videographers, and I need to connect with a hair and makeup artist, and I need to find labels that will give me clothes and then I need to find a nice location, otherwise people aren't going to watch it. So, but then I think I was I'm a one-man show. I am the brand, I am the product.
Anjana, you are what people want to see, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I can do this. I'm my hair and makeup artist in this lockdown. I don't have anyone. I'm the one who drapes all my clothes. I'm the videographer with my phone.
I love it.
So, I don't think, look, it is really nice. And I think if I had the opportunity right now and if I wasn't in a lockdown, I'd be going and creating content like that. But I think, it's not necessarily on the big stuff. If you look at TikTok, if you look at Instagram, sometimes the most viral content is somebody in their PJs dancing.
Yeah, I totally agree. Talking to the camera in your home clothes, you look like absolute shit. And you're like, no one's going to watch this. Next minute, something just the algorithm does its magic juices and that shit just goes viral. And we're like, son of a, how did that work out? Something that you put so little effort into has the opportunity to go like crazy viral. People are under the misconception that they need to look really wow. They need to have to say the right things. Great lighting. Great setups. Have a great outfit. Go to a great scenic location. But just keep it simple. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, you don't have to at all. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So if you feel like, oh, I can't invest money into, having a softbox light, or if I can't invest money into a good camera, and that's fine. Start somewhere. Start
Totally.
with what you've got, whether
Totally.
it's a corner in your apartment or whether it's your garage,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Just start.
Anything works. Anything works. What I want to do now is I want to dive a little bit more into the marketing strategy side of things, because you've been doing this just over a year now, which has been great. What's something that you've seen that was a mistake that you used to do, and you've maybe corrected that, and now you can see it like change a lot in your favor? Like, what's a common marketing strategy that you thought worked and now it's like it's changed?
Yeah, look, I think the hard part is the algorithms constantly keep changing on every
man.
platform.
Yeah.
So I think you need to stay on top of it, whether it's enrolling yourself in classes or even YouTube. There's so much free information just being
100%.
provided.
100%.
Do your research. I think consistency is very important. Obviously, like I said before, not to the point where you're compromising on your quality or your creativity.
Correct. It's like a fine balance.
Consistency is important, because you don't want people to forget about you, and you want to stay relevant. And I think the other thing that I would probably mention is people think that they can just post and just disappear. I
Like
think
set
the
and
brand
forget.
is you. Yeah, I think the brand is you. I think come in front of the camera, talk to the people that are investing in you. Let them know who you are. Let them know what you're like behind the dancing, or whether it's giving them sneak peeks into how you create your content, or just a sneak peek into your day, or what you like to do, and talking and engaging with them.
I
think
that.
is something that I didn't do early on, and I try to do more consciously now. The other thing I think we talk about quite often is don't stick to just one platform.
That
if
is
you're
such a
gonna
good
do it on
tip. That is such a
Instagram,
good tip. Yeah, man.
find a way to do it on YouTube. Find a way to create content for
love that.
TikTok. And I know, and I've found, at least with myself, is that a lot of the content that I create for Instagram doesn't necessarily do well on TikTok. So TikTok is a completely different audience. Their attention span is a little shorter. And there's a wider audience though, and there's a lot more potential. So I try to curate my content on TikTok slightly different to what's on Instagram, and whatever I can collect together to put onto YouTube, I'll put it there too, because I don't want to miss out on opportunities. Yeah,
I love what you said there about like posting on different platforms, because we all fall under that same trap, by the way. Like, I can guarantee you right now, if you're an entrepreneur watching this and you've started your own business, I can guarantee you 99% of you people would probably post on Instagram and that's it. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with that. And I talk about it all the time about being, multi-dimensional, having your content and breaking that up into different ways where you can have different mediums and outlets for it, right? YouTube, you got onto YouTube, which is great. And I've been seeing you post a lot of BTS and more personal stuff with who you are, right? Yeah. And I think that's really wonderful, because, I always say like the switch has now gone from content creating to documenting, right? Like, it's always really fun to document this entire aspect so people can see Anjana on who she is on a more personal level, right? And I think there's a lot more connectivity that happens through that, right? Like, people go, oh my God, like, she's a South Asian like chick, she's she's moved out, she's doing her own thing, she's juggling 2 jobs. I totally relate to that, right? And I think that's really awesome. People want to see that. People definitely want to see that.
Yeah, look, it is harder because like it takes a little longer, that you have to create, certain content for different platforms, but there will be fruits of your labor. I totally believe it. And that's exactly what it is, giving people a bit of insight into who you are. There's going to be someone there, someone who wants to watch it, whether it's me. I love watching, my 5 a.m. morning routine for somebody else. That's the type of videos I like to watch. And there might be somebody who enjoys...
What's that stuff that's going viral? It's the come study with me. It's like 2 hours of you just come
yeah.
study.
Or like,
yeah.
And there'll be like these videos where it's like raining somewhere in some other country, and like I'll just sit there and watch that for like a couple of hours.
That's legit. Like I've got rain music going on in the background when I'm working, because I don't know if people can relate to this, but it's so therapeutic. So I think it's like you've got like what, fire going on behind you on the screen.
10 hours. 10 hours on YouTube.
Yeah, for anyone listening to this on the podcast,
imagine the watch hours.
I know, right? Like that person would be like cheering with the CPM and the metrics behind it. That's smart. Yeah, I love that. No, I love what you had to say about the whole multidimensional thing. Creating different content for different platforms, and I think that's worked a lot well in your favor. Like your numbers have just grown rapidly, and I can see that it's more personal now for you. It's like getting to know you on a much more personal level. No, that's brilliant. That's awesome. So, touching on our last couple of final points, what's something, if you could just sum up in like, a couple of words or sentence, that you would give as advice to people who are starting their own creative journey, who might be dancers or choreographers like you, and who might, be struggling through, what's something that you wish you had been told when you first started your journey?
Yeah, I think I wish I was like, I wish I told myself this, or I wish I didn't care as much about what other people thought, and to just start. You know, there were so many steps in my life where I would start and then I would just stop and like sort of wither away from it, and then
Yeah.
I would come
Yeah.
back, and no one's expecting me to commit either. So people are like, oh, she's going to do it, but she won't really commit to it. So what's the point for sticking around? So I think I
Yeah.
wish I'd started earlier. I wish I didn't care about what people thought. Like, am I posting too much, or am I being annoying, or,
Yep.
you know, what are people going to say about me? I think that's one word of advice I'd give to people. Just start.
block out the
and
noise.
don't care what people, block out the noise
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I get
I
girls
love it.
messaging me now that say, hey, I'm so inspired by you and I'm so glad, like, I started my dance page. And I'm like, that's amazing.
That's amazing. That's so
just
good.
Go do it.
Yeah. I totally get that. Like that. Like I said, there's all these barriers before you even start, right? And it's just the worst. It's the most demotivating thing, right? Like to have your own voice, right, telling you that people might think I'm a bit weird, or people might judge what it is that I have to do, right? And it's that same very voice that it's like it's the biggest culprit. It stops you from doing anything truly amazing. No, I totally respect that. It's like, you just wish you had just blocked out that noise.
Yeah, and if I regret it right now that I didn't start 3 years ago, if I never do this, I know for sure in the future I'm going to hate myself. And I'd rather know that I tried, and I think with dance at this point, I'll never stop trying, even if it's like not working for me. There's going to be no point that I'm going to stop trying.
I love that.
And I think that will make me very happy. No matter how far into the future I look, I'll be like, at least I'm still trying.
Yeah, I love that. And I think part of it is also not having like an end goal attached. I mean, goals are important, don't get me wrong. Like I think goals are really, really important, but like not being too caught up on if you don't hit it straight off the bat, right? It's like these things take time. You know, our passions change, our goals even change as we progress along in our journey. So being able to pivot in that is really important. And being okay with the fact that inevitably this ultimately comes down to us loving what we do. Right?
Yeah.
You love dancing. That is the core of your foundation when it comes to the passion that you ride with the entire part of your focus as who you are as a person, right? Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think even as a photographer, it's like, I will never stop, photographing amazing couples and doing editorial shoots and like portraits of people. I think I love that part. It's such a creative journey for me. So, running a business and posting content and doing YouTube videos, that's just part of the journey. Right, that's just all part of it. And I always say that falling in love with the process is by far the best thing that you can do. Absolutely. Wow. So that's a great way to end that up, which is awesome. My last question to you, Anjana, is where do you see yourself in the next 2 to 3 years with Anjana Chandran Choreography?
You know what? I really, really hope I'm able to start a proper dance academy. I hope I'm able to run regular classes and teach girls and boys, people that are passionate about dancing, have regular classes, really connect and grow. And I just want to keep dancing. I want to create content. I want to create more exciting content. Hopefully we'll be out of lockdown soon. So in 2 to 3 years, dance academy, more students, and
I love it. Let's manifest that. Let's make sure that this happens. I'm going to totally keep you accountable. Like, hey, remember that time you came on my podcast and you said this, and this? Like, how's that all going for you?
Oh, no.
Sorry, we'll rewatch this in the next 2 to 3 years and see how that's all going.
God.
So, it'll be brilliant. All right, awesome. Anjana, you've been absolutely wonderful. We're going to wrap this up with a very unique rapid fire round that has not been seen anywhere else before. So that's going to be
totally.
awesome.
Mind you guys, I actually have no idea what these questions are, so I'm quite nervous. Brilliant. And he's also told me I don't get a hamper either, so I'm not okay with this.
I think I should just be super transparent with this just from the get-go. It's like you at most you get lunch with me. And I just get like free food or like depending on who pays. But all right, let's go straight into the rapid fire. So rapid fire question number 1. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, brilliant. What is your favorite guilty pleasure?
What's my favorite guilty pleasure? Probably like yoga berry.
Yoga berry? Yeah. Okay.
Like frozen yogurt. I'm lactose intolerant. I really shouldn't be having dairy, but I think there was one point at New Year's where I went to yoga berry like 2 times at night.
Right, yeah.
In the span of like 2 hours.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I had a different answer in mind. I don't know if I should say it or not, but it was food related. It was food related.
Oh,
I was going to say Macca's. I was just going to say Macca's.
Oh, okay. You know what? I don't have Macca's now anymore.
Oh, okay. Anymore? As of when?
As in like I don't have it as consistently as I used to have it. Remember back in the day when it was like dance practice, I'd be having it every practice. But now I just have it like once every couple of weeks or something.
I love it. We used to rock up to dance and I see Anjana with like, what's the most common thing you used to have from Macca's? It was like, I swear to God, it was like either Was it a Slurpee that you
Some-
used to have, or like
No,
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 no?
I
Oh,
don't-
your like it's the iced frappe thingy my Bobby used to have. You
Oh,
love that
yeah,
stuff.
I like iced mochas. I'll have a coffee frappe. I love the McDonald's Coke. I think it's way better than normal Coca-Cola. Don't get me started now. I'm hungry.
All right, this episode is not proudly sponsored by Macca's or Yoga Berry, just putting it out
I
there.
wish.
All right, brilliant. Question number 2. What's your top 3 most favorite apps used on your smartphone, excluding texting and calling?
My favorite apps?
Yep, top 3.
I love Instagram. I love TikTok. And I would say the third one, damn. How sad. That's like the extent of all the apps that I use. On
Everyone says the
media.
first 2 really easily. It's always the third one that gets them, yeah.
That's a really good one. I wish I could look into my phone.
Maybe it's like a tool that you use for posting. Like, is it something that you use? Or maybe it's like another social media app, like Pinterest or something.
I literally don't think I use any other app.
So literally there should be only 4
obviously,
apps. According to this conversation, there should only be like max 4 apps on your phone. Like,
dude, you know I
calling,
have like
texting.
literally no space on my phone. I can only manage to have 2 or 3 apps anyway.
And that's mind you coming from someone who's got 256 gigabytes available on her phone. No space, yeah. Yeah,
I
welcome
record a lot of
Anjana,
content. I record all my content on my phone. What am I meant to do?
Also very true. All right,
Yeah,
okay.
so I would say, Instagram, TikTok, and like if you didn't say texting, I'd say WhatsApp.
Yeah, okay, fair call. All right, we all use WhatsApp. Yeah, and especially our family group chats on WhatsApp. We all know that we have them.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Question number 3. Who's a dancer that you would absolutely love to do a cover with?
Oh my God, Manpreet Kaur.
Yeah, she's really, really cool. All right,
I just
brilliant,
said,
love it.
as soon as you said dancer, I had like Manpreet Kaur. I'd love to. But that list doesn't end there. There's a very long list of dancers.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I'm like, you might have trouble answering that because if the like one person, I'm sure there'd be multiple that you'd love to dance with. So
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
All right, very cool. All right, question number 4. What's the first thing you're going to do after lockdown?
After lockdown, go see my parents. I haven't seen my
yeah,
parents in
yeah.
so long.
Kind of important.
So yeah.
yeah, kind of
I
important.
think so.
Yeah,
I think
kind
I'll
of.
squeeze in some time for them.
Brilliant. Question number 4.
Actually, my sister will kill me. I'll also go to Melbourne. My sister just had a
Okay.
baby. I'll go to Melbourne.
Okay,
So family.
Anjana sisters, if you're watching this or listening to this, then congratulations on the baby, and any message to your sister that you want to say?
No, I just miss her.
All right, brilliant. All right, we miss Anjana's sister. Question number 5. If you're on an island, what top 3 things would you love to have with you?
Like, do I have everything that I need for survival?
Okay, you have absolutely nothing.
I have absolutely nothing.
You got nothing.
And I have to take 3 things.
You can make 3 wishes on this island.
Okay, I wish for abundancy in terms of food.
Totally.
I wish for
Cool.
shelter. And I wish for water.
I had a very
Then
different.
I will figure out.
I had a very different answer in mind. I don't know why. Okay, cool.
What did you think?
I don't know, like suntan lotion or some shit. Like, taking the sun. Not, counting the fact that the essentials already was provided. Okay, don't worry. It was a
you
different
told me
answer.
no essentials.
Okay. Fair. Let me just for next time I'll realize if I ever ask you again. All right.
Okay.
In one word or sentence, what was your aha moment when it came to your social media strategy?
One word.
One word or one sentence.
The one moment that I think when in terms of social media strategy, I think consistency would be when it comes to seriousness is like consistently posting. And consistency also came through for me in the sense of like where I was shooting as well. When I saw people were engaging with that, I was like, I'll continue to use this place.
Yes, that corner that we all love. Brilliant. I love it. For me, it's like literally making content in my room. So like I get exactly where you're coming from. 100%.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. And question number 7, what's something on your bucket list that you're yet to accomplish?
Oh my God. I think if we have to say separating from dance and we're just thinking about like personal, my whole idea in life has always been like 6 months to a year, go somewhere abroad, like Switzerland or something,
man.
live
100%.
like, do a measly job, whether it's like, being a waitress or something and just travel.
Just travel. Yeah. Or travel and creating content at the same time. I think that's always a really fun goal.
You can
I love that.
dance in Zurich or something. I don't know.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I mean, that was a rapid fire. You did really, really well. Thank you. I mean, it was a bit longer than the rapidness that I had in mind. So you did.
I'd like to
good.
blame the clarity of your questions.
I think the questions were fine. It was the answers that could have, probably lacked a bit of detail, but that's fine. It's okay. It's rapid. It's over. It is what it is. I will give you Yoga Berry and Macca's when I next see you. There you go.
Yay! Honestly, that means a lot to me. Thank you.
Brilliant.
I love Yoga Berry and Mac.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, if you guys for tuning in, if you want to know something personal about Anjana, then there you go. She loves yoga berry and macas. Not the other vital content
no substance.
and not the other like value-added things that we could have talked about today. But yeah, that's the main takeaway for today. Anjana, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you so much. You've been an absolute amazing guest on the podcast. A dear friend of mine. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It actually means a lot to me that you consider me worthy of this as well. I can't wait to see more and more of your podcast and see you grow. And thanks for giving me a chance to connect with people like this.
I love it. Guys, if you guys are watching this video via YouTube, then don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe. We're both YouTubers here, and Anjana's links will be in the description, which is awesome. And if you're tuning in via podcast, then don't forget to rate it 5 stars and hit that subscribe button as well. And also comment what was your favorite part. But until next time, guys, I will see you in the very next episode.